The assassination of Charlie Kirk was so monstrous that it's still fresh for a lot of us. While it is, we need to focus on things that we can do to reduce the likelihood of this kind of thing happening in the future. Talking to the unhinged left is quite obviously a waste of time. They've already made up their minds, and nothing we can say to them will make any difference at all. Well, most Americans are not on the unhinged left, or on the much smaller unhinged right, for that matter, even though these extremes do tend to dominate public debate. We have to look way past the next election and admit to ourselves that this is going to be a long, difficult, laborious slog, and that politics is only part of the answer. And in my opinion, it's not even the main part of the answer. You're not going to like hearing this, and I don't particularly enjoy saying it. But in order to succeed, we're going to have to change the way that we live. By all means, continue to vote and be active in politics, but it's going to take a lot more than that, a lot more. In a modern society, so much of the world that we live in, as a practical matter, is shaped by the culture that we've created and continue to create, as well as the small economic decisions we each make every day. In those respects, those of us who reside on the political right have been looking at this the wrong way. For many years, the left has focused on slowly infiltrating and infecting the minds of those among us who are most vulnerable, most often the young. They've normalized hatred and violence to an extent not seen in this country for a very long time. It took them a very long time to do it, and it's going to take us a while to undo it. The good news is that they have done these things while at the same time preaching love and peace. It doesn't take a genius to see the inherent conflict, irrationality, and insanity of that narrative. They stuck their necks out too far defending Charlie Kirk's murder, and it's incumbent upon each of us to make sure they pay for that error, as well as for all the damage they have done on purpose over the years. This can't be done by calling for an eye or by defending Vladimir Putin. It can only be done through an aggressive defense of free speech and free people that is woven into the fabric of our lives, and this requires us to change. I'll start with the most difficult one, at least for most of us. We must educate ourselves. We must know what we're talking about. We must have rational, coherent opinions, and we must be able to defend them with logic. Now, there's a place in the world for the Tim Pools, and Tim has done a great job. We're much better off with him than without him, and I hope he continues doing what he's doing. But Tim Pool doesn't know what he's talking about, and I mean that quite literally. If you've ever seen him debate someone who does know what they're talking about, you know what I mean. Jordan Peterson knows what he's talking about. Warren Smith knows what he's talking about, and love him or hate him, Ben Shapiro, he knows what he's talking about. I'm not saying we all need to be expert debaters, just better debaters, even if we never have the opportunity to debate. And that doesn't need to take up a whole lot of our time, but be willing to question some of the things that you take for granted if they don't make logical sense. You've heard me use this example before. Does it make sense that the way to reduce government power is through more government? If your answer is yes, or even a qualified yes, the statement and the belief deserves more scrutiny. Now, you may come up with a logical reason for that belief. This can probably be done. All I'm saying is don't accept it as axiomatic. Thing number two that we can do to fight back, and my kids hate this one. Don't buy things from people who hate you. Eric July has been preaching this message for a very, very long time. When Disney hit peak woke, at least I hope it was peak woke, people started to pay attention, and they started to punish Disney by refusing to give their dollars to people who hate them. Same thing with Bud Light, Target, and other businesses that went too far. And that was great. That was progress. But we all have a short attention span. To the extent possible, just do what you can. Every time you take out your credit card or you go online, ask yourself, am I buying things from people who hate me? And I'm not even necessarily saying that if the answer is yes, never buy it. I'm not asking you to turn your life completely upside down. But if there's an option, if there's another product, if you don't need the thing desperately, please rethink that decision. And in this way, tell the people who hate you you've had enough, and that you, at least, are not going to participate and fund the destruction of your own culture. And every time you find yourself thinking that it's too much trouble to search for another product, it's too much effort to examine and strengthen my own beliefs, think about Charlie Kirk and the fact that he died, and the fact that he was killed for saying true things. Think about whatever it takes to motivate you to change, even if it's just a little bit, just a little bit. That's progress.